What's up, guys? Tonight, working on the wife's car. Needs rear brakes. They are the passenger, sorry, is actually grinding really, really badly. I wish I could show you, but it's already in the garage, so I'm not going to go through that. The brake system on the back of this is the same as this is a 2008 Ford Taurus X. Brake system on the back of this is the exact same as the 2008 and up. I'm not really sure. I'll look into it, but I'm pretty sure it's 2008, probably all the way till the end of production of the Flex, which is coming here soon. It might be, they changed the chassis in like 2012 or 2013, so probably 2013. So it's probably the same brake setup as that range. So if you have a Flex, this is going to be the same process. I'm just going to record myself doing it. It's not, hopefully not going to take too long. These calipers are the screw-in style calipers. So sometimes they can be a pain to deal with screwing back in, and sometimes they don't screw back in. I'm hoping they screw back in, because if they don't, that means I'm going to have to replace calipers. I've already had to put a caliper on the right rear of this car in the past when doing these rear brakes. So let's hope that the left rear is okay and the right rear is still okay as well. So let's get to it. Guys, let's get these tires off of here. As you can see, I was breaking lug nuts loose. Works. To break that one loose, guys. Fix that problem real quick. This side taken off. Move some stuff around so I can work in here. Let's get the flashlight. I'll show you how bad this is. Actually, you can see. Metal on metal pad. Oh, sorry guys. Just bumped you into stuff. That one's not quite there, but as you can see, this outboard pad is definitely metal on metal. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys the cheat way on how to screw these calipers back in without any special tools. I'm hoping that it works, because if it doesn't work, then we're gonna have to go to the store and buy some tools. this can get pretty. Alright guys, I apologize. I just watched back that video and realized that you couldn't really see what was going on. So let me explain this to you again so that you can see. So there's two notches here on this piston. The tool that goes in here is a disc that locks into these notches and turns the piston. There's also another piece of the tool that applies tension between these fingers and the piston itself and spreads things apart, and it pushes the piston in. And what'll happen is as you're pushing the piston in, it'll stop screwing in. No matter how much pressure you put on it, it won't go back in. At that point, you have to turn the center of the tool, which goes, it's threaded and goes through the middle and goes into this disc that goes here, and it turns the piston in. You turn the piston like a half a turn to a turn, and then you can keep going. What happens is half turn, turn and a half, just that depends. The compression tool will start to get loose in here. At that point in time, you want to tighten the compression tool back up. You'll see it'll snug back up and then push the piston in a little bit more. And then you're just going to keep going with the screw tool, with screwing the center in, tightening the tool back up, screwing the center in, tighten the tool back up. Now I was doing the same thing with the C-clamp in the pliers. The C-clamp was providing my tension to push the piston in, and then I was turning the piston with the pliers. And as you could see, you couldn't see. I'll show you on the other side. As you're screwing the piston in, the C-clamp will get loose. When the C-clamp gets loose, you tighten it back up. When you're tightening it back up, you'll see the piston push in a little bit, and then it'll get snug again. You won't be able to turn the C-clamp. That's when you're supposed to turn the piston again with the pliers. Turn the piston another turn and a half until this gets loose again, and then you tighten this back up again, push the piston on a little bit, and you just walk the piston in until it's bottomed out like it is here. I'll show you on the other side with a better camera angle. I apologize for that, guys. So let's get our new parts out and get everything put back together on this side. All right, new tools, or new parts, sorry. Can't really beat Rock Auto most of the time. Sometimes I get stuff from the local parts store, but Rock Auto is a pretty good, a good company to get all this stuff from. It's pretty cheap. It's good quality stuff. I've been using Rock Auto parts for years. I'm sure most of you guys, if you're doing stuff yourself at home, have probably been using Rock Auto as well. If you haven't, I would definitely check them out. Front brakes that are on this car that I replaced earlier this year are from Rock Auto. They work fantastic. I've not had any problems with them, and they lasted. The set that was on there previously to the front brakes were also Rock Auto, and they're power stop, actually, through Rock Auto. Power stop brakes. They lasted 70,000 miles on the front, which is pretty impressive because usually the front does a lot more braking than the rear. These rear brakes, I think, probably have about, I want to say 70,000 plus miles on them. It's been a long time since I've done them. I bought this car for my parents, 70,000 miles on it, right at 70,000 miles, and it's got 167 on it. I'm pretty sure I did the brakes right after I bought it from them. So they've got, I want to say I probably did the rear brakes at 80,000 miles. So these rear brakes have 80,000 miles on them. They were not power stops that time. Those were parts. So they lasted pretty good, actually. I'm kind of surprised. Normally the parts store stuff doesn't last very long because it's just cheap quality stuff. All right. What was I at? I'll just get gloves on. All right. Let's get this put back on. Actually pretty good setup. They've got that screw set up to where it's got 5 holes to go through, so you don't actually have to try to line up the hole. To me, that screw's not, I don't know how important that screw actually is. Been a lot of times where I've had to like drill it out because it breaks off while you're working, and usually don't ever bother trying to put one back. From what I gather, it's just there to hold everything together while you're putting the brake pads back on. It's not really there, or putting the brake rotor back on, so it doesn't flop around while you're trying to put the tires or the wheel back on. I don't really know how much of a role it plays in anything. So these power stop kits come with all new hardware. Take all your old stuff off and throw it away. Make sure these slide real good. That one's a little crusty. Gotta get that greased up before we put it back together. In here. Let's get some rag. Nice clean rag. Grease put on this stuff so this slides up really good. You want it to move really easy like these do. Let me show you once I get this put back together. So you want them to slide really, move in and out real easy like this. That's how you know that they are lubricated up properly and not going to stick on you. I think that's probably what's wrong with the other side, is that it's a little stuck. Which happens sometimes, especially in between brake services and stuff like that. That stuff doesn't, that grease doesn't last forever. Light moved over here. Ratchet. Sorry guys. I said before, I'm not really used to wearing this thing on my head, so you'll have to bear with me for a while till I get used to it. I'm going to keep hitting it. Alright. Those tightened up. You want to make sure that you don't get any grease on the braking surface. If you get in on the braking surface, it can cause hot spots and stuff to happen. And the brakes don't work very well. Huh. That's weird. For some reason it's not fitting in there. I don't really know why. Alright, well, let me get this figured out and we'll cut back to this being back together. Alright guys, sorry about that. So I figured out the reason why it wasn't going in is because the new pad, being so much thicker, was not able to go into this area where the pad sits and clear the bracket at the same time. Just the angle wouldn't work. It was jamming itself up. So what I actually had to do is take the bracket back off and feed the pads in out into the clips from the inside. So I put one pad in first, the other pad in, lubed everything up, put it back together. So brand new pads, brand new rotors. Let's cut the other side and I'll show you. I'll get the other side torn apart and then I'll show you how to put that piston back in. All right guys, gotta get this other side done. Actually replace this brake caliper on the sides. These bolts are actually not 13s on this side, they are 14s. Hold on. Sure, you guys can probably tell by looking at this car, but definitely a northern car. Definitely has a lot of rust on it. Yep, see? Metal on metal. No brake pad left. Yeah, I'm going to be real with you guys at this point in time in my life. Haven't lived in the South for the last 10 years. Northern cars suck. I really don't like them. Well, the pad's wearing a little unevenly, which means that the caliper was definitely hanging up, which would explain why this one wore into the backing plate before it actually wore through all the pads. So I'm just going to make sure when we put it back together that we lube everything up really well so that it doesn't do that again. Just taking this stuff off because it gives me some extra room to do what I got to do with this. C-clamp. The screw that holds the brake rotor on is a T40, by the way. I replaced this wheel bearing before too, so it made that brake rotor come off a whole lot easier. It wasn't rusted on there like it was on the other side. Alright. Alright, so this side's actually reverse thread. Figured that out while I was trying to get the C-clamp on. Again, this would be a lot easier with the tool, but I don't feel like purchasing the tool, so we're going to get this way. See, I was able to get that turn out of it. Now the piston screwed in a little bit. We're going to turn it again. If I can get it to turn again. Turn it again. It'll be a slow process with this, especially doing it this way. If you had the tool, I'd be done already. Not even gonna lie. But tool's expensive, C-clamp already had, so. Hopefully that's enough to check when we're going to put everything back together. But as you can see, it's a little time consuming to do it that way, but it's definitely doable that way. The tool will be much, much easier to use. Like I said, it grips in these spots, these two slots here, turns the piston, tightens itself up, turns the piston, tightens itself up. It's pretty much all you're doing with the C-clamp. It's just a lot of hand exercise. Tighten the C-clamp, put tension on the piston, screw the piston until the clamp gets loose, tighten the piston back up. Alright, let's get this all put back together, and hopefully that's screwed in enough, and we'll be done with this job. We'll go test drive it and make sure there's no noises. All right, as you guys could see at the end of that time lapse there, I was torquing the wheels down. Torque for the wheels in this car is 100 foot-pounds. Make sure you torque your wheels down. You don't want them falling off. It's not a fun experience, trust me. We're gonna go drive this car, make sure that the noise is gone. Should be gone, as we could see when we were taking apart the passenger side, that we had some pad on rotor wear, which is causing the grinding noise that my wife was complaining about, which prompted this whole job in the first place. Please like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to our channel, and look for more content from us in the future, just project cars here and there, and us working on stuff in the garage here. Thanks, guys.